ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, it's a really hot day. I mean, it's July. It's hot. I'm enjoying a lovely strawberry, gluten-free, keto-friendly strawberry ice cream pop. So, welcome everyone to another exciting edition of the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by F.A.N. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning, ever-growing, ever-expanding fan show. I think it's forever growing, ever expanding. It's not, we'll figure it out. Okay, that's what we do here at the fan show is we figure it out. And so I do want to thank you all for tuning in. It is hot out. I mean, it's really hot. And I know that this is Washington and people down south are just like, you think that's hot? You should be in Texas. Or you should be in Carolina or Florida. Maybe I will be. This is week 2 of my free agency. In case you missed it last night, Coach Billy Back of the Carolina Cobras sort of threw his onto the table, if you will. I was just kidding around with him. And I said, hey, I'm a free agent. Make your best pitch. And he said flat out that they need a color commentary guy there. He believes that the fan show should be the official podcast of the National Arena League. He was going to be my biggest advocate because if other leagues haven't caught on by now and haven't bought into the idea that it's pretty much their loss and the NAL should cash in. So if I were to do power rankings for my free agency as far as places that I feel have the highest likelihood of, I guess, landing me, signing me, whatever you want to call it. And let's be real, if there's something I can do a power rankings for, I'll do it. So there'll probably be a power rankings coming out later on to show, after 2 weeks, who's in the lead right now, who's got the most power over where I could end up. And I don't mean it to be like a thing of like cockiness or whatever. I think it's just fun. I really do. So right now, if I were to do power rankings, Carolina is probably number 1. The NAL then would be number 2. The IFL would be number 3. Iowa would be number 4. Number 5, maybe Cedar Rapids, depending on who they hire as their head coach. So number 5, I guess, would be Jose Jefferson. And he's only not in the top 3 because I don't know where he's going to end up being. And then you could put number 6 is Arizona. Number 7 is Massachusetts. 8, Green Bay. 9, Jacksonville. And then 10, I don't know. That's how I would rank them right now. 10, Battlebots, maybe. I don't know how Battlebots would sign me in free agency to full-time because it doesn't interfere with anything else that I do, which is nice. Because I love doing BattleBots. Tonight, it is Wednesday. We do have another edition of our weekly BattleBots special right here on the Fan Show. This would technically be under the robotics category, but we're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it the same until August. So just a few more weeks. And it might be a scorcher outside, but it is Subzero in the studio. Logan Davis was kind enough to join me. We did a pre-recorded segment last night. And I realized that it's summer because my calendar doesn't work like the rest of y'all's. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, yeah, I'm a student currently enrolled in Full Sail University, so I'm in school. But this program is so much different than anything else. I don't have technically I do not have quarters or semesters or anything. Like it's 4 weeks a class. And I think a 2.5-year course to get my bachelor's degree in sportscasting. And we're blazing through, man. I'm already over the midway point of my 4th class in this course, and I started in March. I mean, that's mind-blowing. We've had 2 breaks. There was, I think, spring break, which happened like the week after I started. And then we just had summer break, which was a week, thankfully, the week of the United Bowl. So I didn't have to worry about trying to do homework while I was on the road. I will have to attempt that this week, though, as I do have a homework assignment due. I will be leaving for Boston Friday in the afternoon and then coming back Sunday night, early Monday. But that's going to be a good trip. I'm looking forward to it. And I realize that it's summer because there's so many people out doing things right now. It's Shark Week, which is one of the biggest signs of summer, right? When Shark Week hits. So Discovery has put a little bit of a pause on Battlebots. So you can still watch all the episodes that they've aired so far, and you can get all caught up if you want, which I highly recommend. But they're not airing any new episodes until Shark Week is over. So that's a lot of fun. That they can do that and not have to worry about competing. I mean, it's the same show on the same network, or it's a show on the same network. Why compete? Embrace. But we have Logan Davis of Subzero, who is like, I reached out to like 6 different people last night. One almost could, then that fell through. Logan could, so I did that, and then I got responses after the fact from a few others. But yeah, it's definitely summer. People are busy. People are out and about doing their thing, and that's fine. It doesn't bother me. It's a little bit. I just like to have guests on the show, you know. But it is a lot of fun here on the Fan Show. So this would be robotics division. Got some stuff due to high demand. We're going to do an outdoors division. I'll be teaming up with Clumdog Outdoors as well as Bobby Brown and All-Star Bass Fishing. And that'll be happening the 1st of next month, so that's exciting as well. But yeah, it's a whole new world for the Fan Show, and let's go ahead and do what the Fan Show does. And let's get through the headlines. And the headlines, I wish, were brought to you by a delicious snack. I would love to have a food sponsor. Can I just say that right now? Any food sponsor. Sweeto Burrito, Zips. I mean, it's got to be somebody that I have access to, right? Like, I can't say, hey, In-N-Out, you should sponsor me. There's not one near me. What good does that do me? But to just get free food for mentioning them, like, I'm all about it. Let's do it. I'm a fat kid. I'm hungry. Anyway. Headlines, though, are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. You guys know Ethan. I do. He's a great guy. He does great work. He can customize your world. I mean, like, literally customize your world. If there's something that you think you can put a logo or your artwork on it, if you can dream it, he can do it. Plain and simple. Custom embroidery, screen printing. He can put it on everything from hats, T-shirts. I think I saw jackets today on his Instagram. Flasks, probably. He does custom trophies, awards, foam fingers, coasters, posters, banners, tablecloths. I mean, he does it all. And it looks great. I mean, it's one thing to expand your horizons, right? And to dabble in a little bit of everything and maybe have, like, of those, let's say, 10 things that, like, 3 of them are really good and the other 7 are like, nah. No, he does all 10 very, very good. And that's a ballpark number, probably pretty low because he does a lot of stuff. I love stopping by there once a week to see what new stuff he's got. We're working on hats right now, so that's exciting. But the Fan Show, of course, I feel like represents Dynamite to the best of our ability because we, too, like to have our hands in several different things and do the best for all of those, not just 1 or 2, which is what we hope to bring you with the new Fan Show division. So hit up Ethan at Dynamite Enterprises, and he is going to help customize your world. He's going to hook you up. He's going to be like, let's do a thing here and a thing here and whatnot. I mean, it's just very exciting. I look forward to what we could potentially accomplish next. So, big thank you to Ethan for helping us get our shirts that you guys love so much out there to the masses. There, you can still order shirts. It's not too late. And yeah, that is going to do it for the Who is sponsoring headlines at this time. In football news, Apparently, the Buccaneers did not mention Jameis Winston in their promotional video, which color me shocked. Anything that they can do to sort of distance themselves or wipe their hands clean of whatever is a black mark on their record, they'll do. And that's, to me, just a little bit silly. Hulk Hogan was in the news, but we're actually going to save that for tomorrow night, just because I'm not in the mood to bring down the mood, so to speak, tonight. But we will probably talk about it. In other NFL news, let's see here. Are the ESPYs tonight? Man, I'm out of the loop if I have to remember that the ESPYs, although I'm not a fan of ESPN, so it's like, what difference does it make to me? But Darrelle Revis has announced his retirement. So there's probably the biggest headline from the day. For the past 11 years, it has truly been an honor to showcase one of my greatest gifts to the world today. I am closing a chapter in my life that I once dreamed of as a kid, and I am officially retiring from the National Football League. The game of football has opened doors for me I once thought were nearly impossible to get through. My passion to play the game at an elite level brought fun and excitement to the term shutdown corner, which was nearly on the verge of extinction. Covering some of the toughest assignments in league history was a challenge every Sunday, but also an honor within the game we all love. I would like to thank my coaches, teammates, and mentors who have made a significant impact in my life and helped to create amazing memories that my family and I will cherish for a lifetime. I'm excited as to what lies ahead as I pursue new ventures in different industries. Long live Revis Island. So that was the official statement from Darrelle Revis. Now, I don't see him joining a commentary booth anytime soon. I just don't. I feel like there's guys that you could clearly see would probably have a foot in that door or a head start down that path. And Revis just doesn't strike me as the guy that's going to end up in a booth or in a suit for that matter. So I think whatever the other industries are that he's referring to, I could see him being like the guy to run a football camp, in all honesty. I think he's someone that has a lot he could teach. And I do believe he is one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. So happy trails to him. Best of luck. I think for Darrelle Revis, yeah, putting on the suit and tie. Maybe he can be, on one of the pre or post game shows. Sure. But to me, it doesn't feel like a very Darrelle Revis thing to see him in a commentary booth or at one of those tables week in and week out. In fact, I think he gave so much to the game of football that it's probably time that the game of football gave something back to him. Whatever that means, I don't know. I just know that for me, it's I'm intrigued by what we will see Revis doing. Let's see here. Titans defensive end Casey says I'll protest on the field during the anthem. Okie dokie. Antonio Brown will grace the cover of Madden 19. Now this confuses me because I thought Terrell Owens was on the cover of Madden 19. Like, I'm so... Whatever. Saints sign former Giants and Pats running back Shane Vereen. Apparently Malik Jackson of the Jaguars says they're going to go 16-0. Okay. And Cards GM, is suspended for extreme DUI. So there's not a lot going on in the world of the NFL right now. But there is a little bit. National Arena League, which we will touch on tomorrow for our big preview. We'll talk Cobras Pirates and Lions Sharks. All 6 teams play this weekend, Lehigh Valley and Maine. So we've got 3 great matchups. That's very exciting stuff. But that will do for the headlines portion of the show. No new Battlebots this week. I know, I'm just as sad as you are. Collective womp womp. But we do have our regularly scheduled weekly special right here on the Fan Show. So we were going to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, Logan Davis of Subzero. Don't go anywhere. We've got more of the Fan Show coming up right after this. You're listening to The Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's The Fan Show!
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazzisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It's like that scene in The Simpsons, like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. No, I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo.
Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again.
So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body, right?
Yeah.
And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and joining me for this week's BattleBots segment is Mr. Logan Davis of Subzero. Welcome to the show, Logan. How you doing?
Oh, thank you, Richard. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I do love the bot teams where it seems to be a family affair. I understand that you and your father on the same team. You're the driver, he's the drone pilot, and then the captain is a friend of yours. But what's it mean to you to be on the same team as your father? And as I understand it, pretty emotional moment for you that happened this season on BattleBots. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it actually felt really, really good. We've been doing this for a long time, and he's really sacrificed a lot and done a lot to support this sport, this habit. And in the last 18 years competing, we've never actually competed together. He's never really driven the robots. So it was really quite nice to just have some time to see him have some of the pressure of driving and competing, and and to get to talk about some of that after the fight. It was really great.
So you guys have been part of the same team, but this was the first time that both of you had controls at the same time during the same fight, right?
Yeah, that's right. Subzero. I've been driving Subzero with Jerry Clarkin for probably 10 years now, and we actually split up the duties of the robot. I've always driven, and he's always fired the weapons. This year, he actually turned over the controls of the weapons to someone else. But in this whole time, it's never really been my dad competing. So, it was just really cool, man. It was just something special, and I hope we can do it some more. The drones are, kind of a rare thing for BattleBots right now, and it's something that he's been really passionate about. He does a lot of flying and racing with quadcopters and drones. So, getting to see him participate in that way was a real treat.
Yeah, no doubt. I imagine it was. Of course, you and I had discussed before the interview started. I had interviewed Matthew Vasquez last week, and that's a whole family affair there with Team Whiplash. But of course, each one of them has sort of their own role. And young Matthew has done very well for himself. Subzero, though, how often do you guys get confused for Bronco?
Never.
Never? Wow.
Never, actually. No, despite being big silver flippers, it really hasn't come up.
Well, that's a good thing, because there's been a few times where I've seen the fight card, and of course I see that on Instagram or Facebook, and sometimes I'm looking through my phone, and I'm just like, oh, hey, it's no, wait, that's Subzero, or hey, no, that's Bronco, and yes, there are some very distinct differences as far as features go, but yeah, I think that you guys have a great bot there. What was the inspiration behind its design, and was that more? I guess the best question for you in regards to design, other than who came up with it and what inspired the design, would be, does the driver need to have a say in the design, or do you just drive the thing where the captain or whoever's behind designing kind of comes up with what they feel will work and then hope that you can drive it to the best of your ability? Like, what's that process like?
You can definitely go either way, but I will tell you that feedback from the driver is really important. You look at any kind of race car team, and if something doesn't feel right for the driver, to be able to communicate what that is and to make those changes and revisions. One of the revisions that we made from the 2016 to the 2018 season was we actually went with slightly wider and taller tires to try and get a little bit more grip to the ground.
Yeah.
With all that weight, with all that power, it really likes to slide around.
Yeah, I could imagine. And you bring up a point that I haven't really talked to a lot of builders about, and that's because it hasn't come up very frequently. But I'll go ahead and jump on the opportunity now since you mentioned it. But so often Battlebots gets compared to like a UFC or a WWE. Now, obviously, the UFC comparison comes because you have Kenny Florian on commentary, and it is, typically one-on-one. Sometimes you'll have a battle royal or whatever, and the WWE part comes in with the production value, Farouk doing the introductions and the commentary and everything. There's a lot of flair to it. But for me, when I was down there for the tapings, I mean, the pit, that's where the magic happens, man. That beehive of just tinkering and going over things and making adjustments. It's like one of the most overlooked parts of the show, and it's probably because they hardly show any of that on the show. But you mentioned,
I completely agree.
Yeah, and it's something that I hope changes a little bit. Now, what leads me to my point here is that you mentioned NASCAR when you said that you definitely want feedback from the driver. Did any of you guys in BattleBots, have any of you reached out to members of NASCAR or Indy or any other type of racing where you're just like, we have a pit, you have a pit crew, what's some advice you would give to us? Because I feel like that's a connection that would need to be made.
Actually, to my knowledge, I can't say that's been done. I think that's definitely something worth investigating. I know a lot of fights are actually won or lost in the pits, and I think that's really an area where our team excels. We're really no stranger to hard work in the pits. It was quite a struggle this season there. I know they did a lot of filming of work in the pits, so hopefully we'll get to see some of that as the season progresses.
Yeah, when I was there, I did a whole video tour of the pits. It was sort of during one of the breaks, so there wasn't really anything, at least that I feel, was too obvious as far as like a potential spoiler, because we all know those NDAs, man, those will get you. But I've been sitting on this video for a while. But yeah, I went through the whole thing, row by row, and I saw some people tinkering and stuff. But it is an incredible experience to be back there in that pit, just because, one, you don't realize just how big the pit area is, and number two, just all the different areas that they have for everything. There's the 3D printing, the welding, and then you have the testing outside, and everything like that. But you guys are there, you guys have set up shop, and you guys are just tinkering away and making adjustments. But the show is all about the fights, but there's so much that has to happen in that pit area that I really hope there's an episode where maybe Kenny or Chris take us on a tour through the pit area, because it seems like they flirted with the idea, but they only give us like a snippet. But definitely something that I would like to see on future episodes.
I definitely saw Chris and Kenny walking through the pits a few times.
Yeah.
In fact, one point, my dad tried to shock Kenny Florian with the taser in the drone. Luckily, that didn't happen, and the old man came out unscathed.
Do you feel like there's a potential, I don't want to say marketing opportunity, but just sort of maybe an expansion of one's audience if Battlebots was to maybe reach out to members of NASCAR or other racing events and their pit crews to have them tune in or maybe come to like the next taping and say, you know, what do you think about our pit area, and kind of maybe open that door. I feel like that's an opportunity that's waiting to happen, and that might bring a bit more attention to the pit area. Like you could do a whole episode, a feature on that. I mean, yeah, we're in the dead zone right now because of Shark Week, and it's not that you need a filler. They're just stopped airing new episodes. But I think something for a bit more of a content value, that would be something that I would really encourage and look forward to.
Oh, for sure. I think web content would be a great way to present that for people that really want to dig into the nitty-gritty. I think maybe having some more Botopsy reports would be a fantastic way to show that.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see some not stop motion footage, but
time lapse.
Time lapse. Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to see some time lapse footage of the pits.
Oh man, that would
just watch some of these complete rebuilds.
Yeah, I mean, Will Bales, when Hypershot got the guts stripped out of him, I'd like to see that lapse of how long it took.
Yeah.
There was a lot I learned down at the tapings, and I think that there's a lot the audience would learn and like to learn from a fan standpoint, because I remember with the ABC days, as short-lived as those were, it was something where I thought that the taping happened in that you were on a very specific schedule, where if a bot didn't have enough after it won to make it to the next fight, so it won, but it's like, all right, so basically the bot won, but now it's limping into the next round because ABC, obviously, before you had the regular season, as they call it, for Battlebots or the Battlebots fight card, so it was a one and done kind of thing, win, you move on. But, you know, I was under the impression that if you couldn't fix your bot enough to compete within a certain amount of time for that next round, that you would be disqualified. Now, we never saw that happen, but that was my understanding. And then when I went to the tapings this year, come to find out, that's very much not how they want it or how it works. Like, if your bot needs more time, they do some miracle schedule shuffling to get it to work. Do you like that about it, or do you kind of feel like there was maybe a bit more, like, if you can't make weight, you don't wrestle kind of mentality to it?
You know, it's a double-edged sword. I've had it both ways. The 2016 season, we went against Ice Wave, and Ice Wave couldn't get ready in time for our fight. So there was postponement after postponement. We had already filled the robot up with gas and waited for 6 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and when they finally got it ready, we ran into some issues where we had a leak. So it was a challenge for that fight for sure. But this year, after one of our fights, we were actually slated to go against Bombshell, which I was really looking forward to. But neither of us were quite prepared after our first fight to be ready in time for our fight. So they actually changed the schedule around to accommodate the both of us. And so I was really grateful for that. I really like to go out. I really like to compete. Any kind of stick time, driving time, I'll take.
Yeah, because there's no glory in the victory of winning by count out or disqualification or forfeit, and it's definitely not good for TV, which I think is probably the top priority for Battlebots with a new home on Discovery is making sure that it's giving the best quality content that it can. Not that it necessarily is up against the heavy hitters like it was with ABC or the complete fish out of water feeling that it was over there. Discovery is definitely a better home for it, and it's got its own audience, right? Like there's a certain type of people that will watch everything on Discovery religiously, and I think that BattleBots fits right in with that particular crowd, and then it brings more of a sort of competitive and kind of sporty side to the show's lineup on there, as well as the audience. How have you felt about being on Discovery, watching the new fight card format play out, and knowing that this time on ABC, the whole season would have been done, and we're only like, what, 2/3 of the way through?
I love it. I love the opportunity to have a long season where you can just look forward to week after week, new set of fights. This is the right channel for it. Discovery and Discovery Science is the perfect home. You know, I grew up watching Mythbusters and pretty much everything that came out of Discovery. So, you know, you could say I've been a big fan of the channel. Now, as far as the fight cards go, that is another thing that I really love. You know, in the past, BattleBots has always been a single elimination tournament. So yeah, you get that first unlucky loss, you know, that first unlucky loss, and you're out. And then you go have a nice vacation in California. But this time, you know, you're almost guaranteed 4 fights before even entering a tournament. So it's really great to be able to get that time in the arena, to get those fights, to get those experiences.
Yeah, and, you know, I've been watching each episode, usually sometimes, you know, 2 to 3 times just to make sure that I've grasped as much as I
You
can.
too, huh?
Yeah, exactly, right? If I'm going to talk about it, I might as well know it frontwards and backwards. And so many of the fights get sort of meshed together as a result. But one thing that I kind of wish that they would do, and this is speaking as a guy who hosts a show called the F.A.N show. Like, I'm a huge fan of BattleBots. And as a fan, I have a certain mode of thinking because I haven't been a competitor, and so there's a lot that I don't know that goes on. But I do wish that, okay, you've got 3 judges. One's a former bot builder himself, which is a great person to have as a judge. Another is sort of a pop culture icon of sorts. They're an actor or a celebrity of some nature. That's a great one to have. I really wish that third one was someone from Kenny Florian's world, someone who understands typically how one-on-one combat works in regards to the judging, because a few episodes ago there was an outcome that I very much did not think that that's how it should have gone. I think it was Scorpios, if I recall correctly, got the win, but they looked like they were definitely on the losing end of that fight. And Kenny
Ryan drove his butt off.
Yeah, and Kenny even goes in saying, you know, you might be landing all the or he said something along the lines of, you know, you might be aggressive or advancing towards me, but I'm landing all the hits, man. Like, if you had to look at these two after the fact, not knowing who won, who do you think would be the winner here? And so I think you need that kind of mindset in there as sort of the helping to maybe sway one way or the other, because you know, the celebrity sees it for its entertainment value, which is great, and of course the former bot builder sees it for what he knows goes into something like this and what specifically he's looking for. So yeah, that third spot, give it to, and that opens up another door for kind of like a merging of worlds, you know, another bridge that you can close that gap on by having, I think there should be special guest referees for some of the fights. There's a lot of opportunity to bring worlds together here for BattleBots to make it more, I guess, pop culture friendly. Maybe that's not what it's going for, but I think that there's at least opportunity there. So that's what I would like to see. And it brings me up to my final point here with you. So we're into probably the final stretch of what is known as is the regular season before we see what the 16 tournament seeding is. There's some bots out there that I feel like maybe next time around the season needs to be, I'm trying to find the right word, because it seems like there's been some very tough matchups for certain bots where...
by design.
Yeah, and that makes sense. You want good TV, you want the best matchups out there, but at the same time, when you have, a Bombshell who's, 0-3 right now, and you know that going up against, 2/3 of the rest of the bots out there, that it would win against each and every one of them, but it's gotten paired against the 3 that just happened to beat it. You wonder about how that would look going into the tournament, because I feel they're clearly a bot that deserves to be there, but it's not my choice. So for you, what would you change next time around, I guess is the question. What about the format? Because it clearly works. I love the regular season and I love the fight card, but how would you make it a bit more so that everybody kind of has the same advantages and disadvantages?
That's tough, because you want to see good matchups and you want to see fair matchups. Mm-hmm. I think for the first 4 matchups for everybody, they really wanted to throw different styles of robots together. They wanted to show dream matchups, like that first fight between Tombstone and Minotaur was incredible.
That was great.
And I really, really like what they're doing with the fight card format and giving these extra opportunities to make it into the Sweet 16, like the Desperado tournament that's coming up. If I were to change anything, I'd maybe even open that up to 4 different kinds of side tournaments, because I think that's going to be the next way to kind of pump up the field to get some of those fights and to find those opportunities to film drama inside the pits. Because as you take on those kinds of additional avenues, things are going to get a lot more tense in the pits.
Yeah,
unless you're rolling deep with 3 complete robots and a pit crew, you're not going to be prepared for those kinds of side tournaments.
Yeah, and that's something that I would look forward to as well. It's just one thing that stuck out in my mind was how you had, we mentioned Will Bales and Hypershock getting his guts strewed out across the Battlebots in that one fight. And then it was almost as if they offered him a sacrificial lamb in Battle Royale with cheese. Now, you don't know how that fight's going to come out, but even the commentary team is just like, this should probably be a win for Will Bales and Hypershock, and if it's not, he's in trouble. So you see where they go up against ones that make sense, and then they have ones where it's almost like they're throwing them a bone, but there's some bots out there that they haven't necessarily been thrown a bone, and you don't want to see them be kept out of the tournament because of something like that. So that was my question. For you, as far as if there was anything that you feel would be changed. I do feel like it's working very well, but what's
one big thing that could be changed, maybe not necessarily to the fight format, but the tournament format, is more time. If BattleBots could announce an event with more than a few months, it would give a lot of teams the time to really work out kinks. And so fights that maybe seemed lopsided or unfair, this season might have turned out differently with more time to work out bugs.
Yeah, very true, which is why emphasis on the pit is so important. Dream matchup for you, is that against Bronco?
That would be an interesting one. But no, I'd always love to fight Donald Hudson. I think he's one of the all-time best drivers and a really great competitor. And so any chance I could get to go up against Donald Hudson, Lockjaw, any of his robots, I would jump at it.
Well, yeah, I mean, what else can be said about the guy who's got more giant nuts than there have been official seasons of Battlebots? I mean, just...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one that I definitely want on the show soon. But we get a nice little break now. We can kind of mull over everything. We can chew on it for a bit. But I am very excited to see how this all finishes up. One thing I'm personally very excited about is all the content that I got while I was down there, the video interviews and so forth. I can finally start to release those because we are getting closer to the time that I was down there for the taping. So, Logan, I want to thank you so much for being my guest this week, and best of luck the rest of the season, and of course in the tournament should you make it. But I think Subzero is a great bot out there, and you guys have a great team.
Yeah, thank you, and hopefully I'll get to see you at season 4.
Oh, I'd love to. We want season 4. Is it too early to get that trending?
No, definitely not.
All right, well, Logan, you have a great rest of your night, and thank you again so much.
Thank you.
That's right, folks. We want Season 4 Battlebots. Thank you again, Logan Davis. Always a lot of fun to talk to the different builders. Each one, such a unique personality. You can clearly tell that a lot of them have not done this before. And I don't mean that in like a negative way. I just think that it's always it's exciting to have maybe the novice or first-timers on the show talk about themselves. They're not used to talking about themselves. It is Wednesday. It is BattleBots Day, but it is also a birthday. And as we all know here on the Fan Show, there is a birthday tradition. I will scour my Facebook to see whose birthday is coming up. And if your birthday happens to land on a show day, we might just give you a phone call. Now, we had a bit of a scare last time. Marvin Jones said he was going to be on the show. We called him twice. Didn't get through, left a message. We thought the streak was over. But then, like The Undertaker for so long, all of a sudden, a kick out. And Marvin Jones shoots me a text, says, give me a call. And we got him on for his birthday. So that was the last time that we did that. That was a few weeks ago. And tonight, we have another birthday. And we're going to see if Craig the Leg will answer the phone. It is his birthday today. He's had a big week, probably what you may consider best week ever for someone in the National Arena League. But we're going to go ahead and give Craig a call and see if the Leg answers. Here we go.
Chris, what's up, man?
Happy birthday, Craig the Leg.
Happy birthday. Is that it? That's it? There's got to be another reason. You're not just calling and wishing me happy birthday, are you?
No, man. Like, this is my fan show tradition. If there's a birthday on the day of one of my shows, I try to call the person as a surprise and wish you a happy birthday. You're on the show live right now.
Oh, you are the man, dude. Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're keeping the streak going, man. I was worried there for a minute.
I didn't know if you were calling me, something was going on, or you needed to come back on the show or something. That's awesome, dude.
No, man, this
is
all about you, man. You're having a great week. You got the all-time record for the NAL. You've got a big matchup coming up this weekend, but it's your birthday, man, and I wanted to call you and tell you happy birthday on the show.
I appreciate that, Rich, and thank you so much, man. It means a lot. It really does.
Hey, man, I will always make my best efforts to make somebody smile if I can, and I am certainly all smiles as I get to see you guys this weekend in Boston. I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Honestly, I saw your call ID come up. I was like, huh. And he said, happy birthday. And I was like, oh, I figured there might have been something else going on here. I know we got the game coming up. I know he's going to be there. So maybe he wants to, talk about that. But that's awesome, dude, man. That really means a lot to me. It really does.
Yeah, man, and good news. I'm actually staying at the same hotel as you guys this weekend. So that's going to be probably more of a dangerous situation than a fun one. But no,
nice.
I'm excited to see you guys, man. I really am.
We're excited to see you too, man. What day are you flying in?
So I fly in late Friday night, and then I will probably get to the hotel after you guys are like in bed, and I'll try to check in early, maybe catch a nap, and then head to the arena. But we'll figure out something while I'm there, but the game is the most important thing. It's a big one, and I'm happy to be reunited with so many former Empire guys up in Boston. My first time there, so I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Huh. That's right. Well, we all played together last year, so.
Yep, very true.
It'll definitely be a good time to get everyone together and, have a good game. Let's hope for a good game.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, like I said, I just wanted to call you, and you kept the streak going, so we're still going strong on the Fan Show birthday tradition. Craig the Leg, another year of greatness, and hey, man, congratulations on everything that has happened for you this season, this week, and enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you so much, man. I'm gonna get back to working out. I'm actually at the Y right now working out. So I'm gonna keep my birthday tradition going and keep grinding. You know me.
Oh, I do, man. All right, I will see you Saturday.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Rich. Really, it means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Anytime. You take care of yourself.
We'll see you soon, bud.
All righty. That was Craig the Leg. Keeping the birthday tradition going. I love it. I never know what they're going to say when they answer. And that was probably one of the single best responses that I've gotten because, let's see, what I called Markel Willis, formerly of the Green Bay Blizzard. I think he answered and he was just like, "What's up, man?" Like he was in Vegas. Like he was in birthday mode. And I was like, oh, man, I'm a little nervous about this one. But no, he was cool. He's like, "I'm on the show right now." And I'm like, yeah. He's like, "What up?" Like, it was a lot of fun. And so for Craig to be like, "Happy birthday. Am I supposed to be on?" I love it. I love it. You never know what you're going to get when it's your birthday and there happens to be a brand new episode of The Fan Show. So if you've got a birthday on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday coming up, be warned right now, if I have your number, I may call you. But thank you, Craig the Leg. Thank all of you for listening. This has been a fantastic Wednesday edition of The Fan Show. We are 170 downloads, listens, or live listens away from an all-new record. July, with day 18, has a chance to become the new all-time record holder for most listens in a single month, and we still have an episode and a week left. That's right. I'm looking at the calendar here. We still have 5 episodes left in July, and we're only 170 plays away. So thank you, Fan Nation. You guys are awesome. We'll see what that number is in 2 Tuesdays from now, when I'm back from Boston and I have settled in, and we'll see if I can join Mike Herrera and the guys at MXPX at Showbox next weekend. But we've got so much stuff in the works. You guys have been so awesome. Don't forget, social media, follow us, like us, love us, share us, and that is at Fan Show Official for both the Twitter and the Facebook.com/ and then at Fan Show Official, or Fan Show Official, I should say. And the Twitter, the Instagram and Snapchat are simply The Fan Show. Website is thefanshow.com, your home base for all things football, nonsense, and beyond, which includes music, robotics. So we're going to relaunch the site in August, so get ready, get excited for that. And then, of course, if you can't listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which you can on the website or Spreaker.com, you can still subscribe to the podcast, which we encourage you to do. Never miss a beat, never miss any of the laughs or the action. iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and soon to be Spotify. So we are, our goal is world domination. And that is going to do it for the Fan Show. Hit up Undisputed Belts. Those guys are awesome. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.